The Road to a Dream. My name is Jack. I am an old man now. I sit in my garden every morning. I drink tea and look at the sky. The air is calm, but my mind is full of memories. When I was young, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to have a big house, a nice car, and lots of money. I didn't want to be poor like my parents. I told myself, I will work hard. I will make it. I started with small jobs. I cleaned shops. I sold books. I worked at night and studied during the day. I had no time to rest. But I didn't complain. I believed my hard work would bring success. Then one day, I opened a small shop. It was my dream. I sold coffee and sandwiches. At first, people came. They smiled. They liked my food. I was happy. I thought, this is the beginning of my success. But then the rain came. Many days of rain. People stayed home. My shop made no money. I had to close it. I felt broken inside. I sat alone and cried. I thought, why does this happen to me? But the next day I got up again. I looked for a new job. I needed money for food and rent. I worked in a factory. The work was hard. My hands hurt every night. But I did not stop. I still believed in my dream. Every evening after work, I read books about business. I watched videos. I wrote ideas in a small notebook. I wanted to try again. I told myself, one failure does not mean the end. After 1 year, I opened another shop. This time, I sold clothes. I made posters and gave flyers on the street. People started coming. Some liked my shirts and jackets. I smiled again. But after a few months, the landlord raised the rent. I could not pay it. I had to close my shop again. My heart was heavy. I felt tired. I sat on a bench in the park and thought, maybe I am not lucky. Still, something inside me said, try again. I remembered my father's words, a strong man is not the one who wins every time. A strong man is the one who stands up after every fall. So I stood up again. This time I didn't rush. I saved more money. I worked during the day and delivered food at night. I ate simple meals and lived in a small room. My body was tired, but my dreams stayed alive. One day I met an old friend. He had a small food truck. He said, come work with me. I agreed. We sold hot dogs near a busy street. I watched how he talked to people and ran the business. I learned a lot. After 6 months, I bought my own little cart. I sold tea and snacks outside a train station. It was not easy, but people came. They liked my smile. They liked my tea. I felt proud again. Then winter came. It was very cold. Some days I had no customers. My fingers were frozen. My shoes were wet. I stood there, shaking, waiting. But I did not go home. I stayed. I believed. One night a man stopped by. He drank my tea and said, this is the best tea I've had. He asked questions about me. I told him my story. He listened and then gave me his card. He said, I own a restaurant. I need someone like you." I looked at the card. I didn't know what to say. It felt like the wind finally turned in my favour. The next morning, I went to the address on the card. It was a beautiful restaurant in the centre of the city. I wore my cleanest shirt and my old black shoes. I was nervous, but also excited. The man from last night met me at the door. He smiled and said, "Come in, Jack." He showed me the kitchen and the team. Then he said, "I want you to manage the tea and snack corner. I trust you." It felt like a dream. For the first time, I had a real place to work, with good people and fair pay. I worked hard. I arrived early, left late, and treated every customer with care. People remembered me. Some came just for my tea. 1 year passed. The restaurant grew. The owner gave me more space, more tools, and more freedom. He said, "You are doing well, Jack. You have heart." I thanked him every day, but I didn't forget my dream. I still wanted my own place. I saved most of my money. I bought better shoes. I started drawing ideas for a small tea shop with art, music, and warm lights. One day, I saw a little store for rent. It was old and empty, but I saw something more. I saw my future. I stood in front of it and smiled. I whispered, "Maybe now. It's time." I signed the papers. The store was mine. It was small and quiet, but I didn't care. I cleaned the floors, painted the walls, and fixed the broken windows. I worked with my own hands, day and night. I named the shop and Jack's Corner. I made simple tea, snacks, and sweet cakes. I put soft music on and used warm lights. I wanted people to feel safe when they walked in. I wanted them to feel at home. At first, not many people came. I waited with hope. Some days were slow, but I smiled at every customer. I said thank you even when I was tired. Slowly, more people came. They brought friends. They came back. Then one day, a local news channel came to do a small story about my shop. They called it a tea shop with a big heart. After that, more and more people visited. The little shop was full every day. I was no longer the poor boy who failed many times. I was a business owner. I was the man who didn't give up. People asked, "What is your secret?" I always said, "I just kept going." One evening I stood by the door and looked at my shop. It was full of people laughing and talking. I felt tears in my eyes, not from pain but from pride. My dream had finally come true. Now I am old. My hands shake and my back is not strong, but my heart is full. I sit by the window of my shop every morning and watch the people pass by. Some still stop and wave. Some come in just to say hello. Young people ask me, "How did you do it?" I tell them I failed many times. I made mistakes. I was tired. I was poor. But I never stopped. I stood up after every fall. That is the way. I do not live in a big house. I do not have a fancy car. But I have peace. I have a name people remember. I have a place that I built with my hands, my heart, and my pain. Sometimes I sit and look at my old notebook. The pages are old, the ink is light, but the dreams are still there. I smile and think, little Jack, you did it. You really did it. Life is not easy. It never was. But it gave me lessons. It gave me stories. It gave me strength. And in the end, I found what I was really looking for. Not money, not things, but meaning. So if you ever fall, remember my story. Get up. Keep going. Your dream is waiting for you, just like mine waited for me.